to ISTQB foundation level site preparation. Today now in this section we will be concentrating on tool support for testing, and in this chapter we will cover test tool considerations and effective use of tools. Okay, first let's look at test tool consideration. How do we classify the test tools? Okay, benefits and risks of test automation, and special consideration for test execution and test management tools. Right now, what is called tool? Tool is something that supports one or more testing activities is called tool. Tools that are directly used for test execution, such as Selenium, Test Cafe, etc. And there could be a tool for test data preparation. Okay, tools that help manage such entities such as requirement, test cases, test procedures, automated test scripts, test results, okay, test data, defects, and for reporting and monitoring. What is the standard example for this? The standard example for this is Jira, Azure DevOps, ALM, Qtest, and things like that. And then tools that are used for analysis and evaluation, and any tool that assists in testing, right? It could be basic thing like a simple spreadsheet. If you are using simple spreadsheet for tracking, that is qualified as a test tool. And how next one is 6.1.1. How do we classify test tools? Test tool classification could be one or more of the following purposes. If it improves the efficiency of test activity by automating repetitive tasks, right? Whether it improves the efficiency by automating repetitive tasks, such as test execution, regression testing, etc. Or whether it improves efficiency by supporting manual test activities, whether it is used as a add-on benefit for manual testing activity. Whether if it improves the consistency of testing and a higher level of defect reproducibility. If the tool improves consistency of testing, if you can get consistent results by executing test cases, and if defect reproducibility is made easy. Okay, so we classify on basis of that. And in some cases, some certain activities cannot be done manually. Like, what are the examples? Example is load testing, load stress testing using JMeter, BlazeMeter, etc. for large scale performance testings. Okay. And then if whether the test tool increases reliability of testing, that is also criteria. Tools can be classified on several criteria, right? Not only this, what is the purpose, what is the pricing, what is the licensing model, okay, whether it is commercial or open source, and technology used, right? Like what technology is used in the tool. Some tools clearly support mainly one activity. Okay, some tools are intrusive meaning it alters the product. So what is the example for that? Example for that is source code instrumentation tools like code coverage tools, right? Okay, and they introduce extra instructions which may affect response time, but we are very aware. So only in test environment these tools are enabled, and in production these tools are not enabled. Okay. Some tools are more appropriate for developers, right? What is a static analysis tools we have discussed some time back, you remember. And tool support for management of testing and test waves, examples are Jira, ALM, Qtest, also DevOps, and things like that. Okay. And earlier we used to have separate requirement management, defect management, configuration management, etc. Now they are all integrated in most of the elaborated tools. Okay, and continuous integration tools. Okay, there could be tools for supporting static testing. Nowadays they are part of integrated development environment like PyCharm, VS Code, etc. Okay, and tool support for design and implementation, model-based testing tools, test data preparation tools. Okay, and tool support for test execution and logging, right? Test execution tools, coverage tools, test harnesses are example of that. Okay, and then tool support for performance testing and dynamic analysis. Then there could be tools for specialized testing needs, in which case you have to come up with proprietary tools. Okay, these are test tool classifications that we were talking about. They can be classified on several criteria that we discussed just now. And now let's focus on benefits and risks of test automation. That is basically 6.1.2. So benefits of and risks of automation. Potential benefits of tools include reduction in repetitive manual work. Okay, greater consistency and reproducibility, because you will be using the same tool, same test cases on test object. And the assessment will be more objective because no human is involved. Okay, easier access to information about testing because test scripts are already documented. Test logs generated, the path will be given to developers. So it is more accessibility of test information, right? About testing is easier. Okay, but and what are the potential risks, right? What are the potential risks of automation? Potential risks of automations are expectations may be unrealistic. This is particularly from management. If management is not clearly aware, what to expect from automation tools, that could lead to problems. The time, cost, and effort during initial introduction of the tool, right? Not everybody may be aware about the tool scripting, test scripting, etc. So the amount of time, cost, and effort that you need to invest in these activities will be higher. And then the effort required to maintain test work products test scripts, etc., that you would have created, the effort required to maintain them also need to be taken into consideration. Tool may be relied on too much, right? We may be relying on tool too much. Okay, and version control of test products, right? Version control of test product. Just we were discussing about configuration management some time back, you remember. So that is the thing that we are talking here. Okay, and then a relationship and interoperability between critical tools. If some tools are integrated together, we also need to check interoperability between tools, right? If Jenkins is calling Selenium scripts, I'm just giving one example. We need to check interoperability between critical tools. Okay, and then tool vendor may go out of business, right? If it is a proprietary tool, the tool vendor may go out of business, or there could be poor vendor response. Okay, so these are the drawbacks that I'm talking about. And open source projects may get suspended, right? In some cases, if you are introducing a new stack, let's say a new platform or technology may not be supported by the tool. So these are the potential drawbacks of automation. And then let's concentrate now on special consideration for test execution and test management tools. Test execution tools could be capture and replay, record and replay, what we talk about, or it could be data driven, where you could maintain information in Excel sheet and read it from the Excel sheet and go on altering the data supplied every time to the test execution engine, or it could be keyword driven, keyword describing the action to be taken. So the above approaches require someone to have expertise, right? If you are using the Selenium, let's say, there should be people in your organization with the Selenium scripting knowledge. So that is about special consideration for test execution and test management tools, right? Test execution tools. Now let's focus on test management tools. So basically, these test management tools should be capable enough to produce information in a format that is needed by the organization. Say, for example, if the organization is making use of spreadsheet, there should be importing and exporting capabilities in the test management tool for them. And then test management tools, basically can be used for maintaining consistent traceability between requirement and requirement management tool. Okay, and test management tools could also be used to link with test object version information in configuration management. What I mean by that is, if you have executed certain test suite, it should also be linked with a particular version of the test object. And we quickly touched upon test tool considerations. So like we spoke about test tool classification, benefits and risks, and special consideration for test execution and test management tools. In the next section, that is section 6.2, will you focus on effective use of the tools. So till then, thank you, and let's meet in 6.2.